Most extraterrestrials that are in contact with us, most, not all, are of a higher dimensional state of consciousness, a higher vibrational state of consciousness, where they realize we are them. We are eternal spiritual beings, remembering who we are, and we don't just exist in the 3-4D reality. Our spirit is so big and so vast that we also exist in higher dimensional states of consciousness. We exist in realities that are beyond what we could probably imagine. I believe that when we go to bed every night, we wake up in our astral body or in these higher planes of existence, but we completely forget it because we have to stay focused here on this reality. And some people can remember, and it's possible, but we get interpretations and subconscious metaphors in our dreams, playing out different energy dynamics. There's our way of interpreting maybe what we're learning in higher dimensions from our spirit guides or different realities. But it's that would maybe take us away from the awareness of us just being here now if we remembered all that. That's why they say DMT, the spirit molecule. It's what we release when we go to bed at night. It's what happens when we take ayahuasca or we smoke DMT or something. We have this viewpoint of infinite doorway to other realities, but we don't really retain much of that information because of how powerful it is, and because maybe our human brain can't interpret what is happening. So when we talk about ETs at all, I just want to preface it by saying I believe every single person listening to this has lives and part of their soul essence in different realities that we would consider extraterrestrial, meaning just beyond Earth. Our spirits are so vast and have existed for so many billions or trillions of years. It's hard for us to even imagine it, but it is so small thinking to think, nope, I've only incarnated on Earth my whole entire life, or lives. I've only been on Earth. That's it. Nowhere else. And it's like, okay, seems to me like a very limited perspective. You don't just exist in 3-4D. You have realities in maybe 5th dimension, 6th dimension, 7th dimension. And in Law of One, it kind of talks about this. It talks about 6th density and 7th density. And in 6th density, we start to become a group consciousness. And the raw beings themselves, or the raw materials, they are of 6th density, moving into 7th density. And there's different octaves of each density. And right now, we're moving from 3rd density into 4th density. Some of you listeners will go, no, Aaron, we're moving in the 5th dimension. Density is a little bit different than dimension. And in general, I think that this is a gradual process that we're moving into. I think the 3rd density, the 4th density, 3rd density is kind of like separation. It's like there's a lot of power dynamics that I think happen in 3rd density. I think there's a very common theme where people forget who they are in 3rd density. And then 4th density, we start to remember. 4th density, life becomes much more fluid, much more synchronous. It becomes much more about vibration. Reality literally becomes like a dream. And things become more malleable. 5th dimension, I think, or 5th density, maybe that's like unconditional love. And we're all one. And I think we're coming to become more and more aware of this. But in general, I think we're moving from 3rd density to 4th density. And that's what this lifetime is all about. And that's why it's so exciting to be here right now. In the Dolores Cannon materials, they say that there are so many, the reason there's billions and billions of souls here isn't just because we're reproducing so fast. It's because there's literally so many souls that want to be here during this time of transformation on the planet. There was like a metaphor. I don't know if this is a metaphor or in one of the Dolores Cannon books, it talks about imagine there's like a pathway of trying to get to Earth. And there's it's being facilitated on who goes into what life or who goes to what parents or who goes to what country. And there's a soul that wants to come in and it's like, I want to go on Earth. And it's like, there's somebody that's like, okay, well, the only space for you to go is you get born in this country, this third world country. There's a lot of pain. You're going to die very young, blah, 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 blah. That's the probability. And somebody says, I don't even care. I just want to be here on Earth to say I was here during this time of transformation where billions of people woke up to who they are. And that's the kind of energy that we're working with right now. So if you're aware of this kind of information, and it's something to be very grateful for, I think. And it's something to be very happy for. So anyways, that's kind of my spiel on making this concept a little bit more digestible. It's understanding that whether you're logically aware of it or not in this life, you have connections to ETs, whether you know it or not. And it kind of softens it up a little bit. Now, when we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the ET agenda, I believe one of the agendas, the positive light agenda, many of you listening to this right now are light workers, and we are here to shift to a higher level of consciousness. That's one of the agendas. They say, by the way, I remember in 2012 when I went through my awakening, I went through a very ungrounded phase when I started learning about all of this, and I had to become much more discerning. But they say that if there are many, many different types of ships, many different types of ET beings that are around the planet. Like there is a focal point and like almost so much focus on Earth right now, wondering what's going to happen and how we're going to move through this shift in energy, this shift in consciousness. And I think that if all the ships were to uncloak, it would freak us out if we didn't know that most of them are coming with love and light. Like imagine you look out into the sky and you just see ships everywhere. So many of them, just polka dots. Like instead of stars, you see ships kind of close. It'd freak us out. But that's because of all the conditioning. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that all ETs are bad or they're out to kill us. And a lot of this, I think, is, first off, let me just specify this. There are good people in the world. There are bad people in the world. In everything in between. In the same way, I believe there are positive, benevolent extraterrestrials, and there are malevolent, negative, evil extraterrestrials, and everything in between. Some with good intentions and good agendas, and some with agendas that maybe help their cause or their star system. There's everywhere in between. That it is the microcosm and the macrocosm is a reflection. Now, with that being said, I don't think they are all negative. I don't think they are all positive. But I do think that one of the biggest misconceptions we have is most people are so afraid of ETs because they infuse human-like characteristics onto all ETs. So it is assuming that we say, oh, they're going to attack us, and they're going to kill us, and they're going to do this and this and this. Here's what I believe. I believe that the ability and the levels of abilities of extraterrestrials has been out there for so long that if they wanted to desecrate us, if they wanted to disintegrate us, instantly they could. In a second, without even thinking about it, they have that ability. But they don't. Many of them don't. One, I believe we have free will here. And I believe that one of the reasons we forget who we are so that we can remember who we are, but what happens is, in a way, there's like cosmic law. And in the Dolores Cannon material, what it talks about is how we as humans forget who we are, we can remember who we are, and we go through experiences of like doing crazy shit. One of them was like the nuclear bomb back in the 1940s when we started experimenting with it in the early 1900s. And what happened is a call was put out into the universe, where basically Mother Earth herself, Gaia, said, these humans are fucking me up. They not only are they letting nuclear bombs go that's fucking up the atmosphere, but it's also influencing other star systems because nuclear bombs have such an impact energetically that it ripples out and affects other star systems. So in the Dolores Cannon material, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of people in hypnosis talking about their subconscious mind coming through of why they incarnated at this time, said we came here because the call was put out. The call that was put out says, hey, Mother Gaia needs help, needs to remember who we are so that we don't destroy ourselves, because one of the free will clauses of the universe is that we could do whatever we want here on Earth, but when we start to influence other star systems, that's when it becomes a problem. We're allowed to do what we want within our own container, but when we start to influence other star systems, that's when it's like, nope, that's a no-go. And then a call was put out, and many of us incarnated here to help planet ascend so that we need to destroy ourselves. Now, many of these ETs, I believe, could easily do that. However, they don't. Now, why don't they? Well, once again, we're assuming that all ETs have this fearful mentality of trying to destroy us because that's what we would do out of fear towards somebody else. Not all of us, but some would out of fear. Now, in actuality, what I believe is that most extraterrestrials that are in contact with us, most, not all, are of a higher dimensional state of consciousness, a higher vibrational state of consciousness, where they realize we are them. Literally, we are other versions of them. We are all connected. Not only are we all connected, but I believe a lot of extraterrestrials literally are future versions of us. And I believe in this lifetime, it is probable that we could meet other versions of our own oversoul, of our own essence. And they know this. We may believe this. They know this. So why would they destroy us? It'd be destroying another aspect of themselves, because they know that we're all one. And some of us may be different aspects of their own consciousness. So why would they harm us? So we are assuming that because of the evil that exists in our world, that extraterrestrials are also evil. It's kind of like when we talk about God. Some people that have belief systems that God is judgmental and evil and punishes you. Well, it's believing a lot of that because we're infusing human-like characteristics onto a divine being like God. Like we're believing, oh, God is jealous, God is this, God is that. Well, we're infusing lower vibrational emotions on a high vibrational being that is probably unconditionally loving. You see? So these higher vibrational extraterrestrials, I believe that God and ETs can both exist. I think the interpretation of God sometimes is filtered through religion belief system that sometimes may be somewhat limiting because it's infusing lower vibrational emotions onto them. But I believe that we both have, we are all one consciousness connected to source energy, and ETs exist. I think that they can both exist. This is a clip from the Daily Vortex podcast, where I post 2 times a week, and we go really deep on understanding consciousness, understanding how to raise our vibration, how to bring these spiritual concepts down to earth in a relatable and practical way. For the whole entire episode, you can click the link below, but also subscribe to that of the Daily Vortex podcast on either iTunes or Spotify. That's where there are a backlog of over 100 episodes, plus the whole entire episode length is there. On this channel, you will only be seeing clips moving forward. So if you want the whole episodes, you can click the link below. You can subscribe. They're also very easy to listen to. They're automatically downloaded once you subscribe. Plus, you'll never miss an episode. So this is where most of my intention is and my energy is going these days. And I look forward to bringing you many more amazing episodes. But for the rest of this episode, you can click below and you can subscribe to the Daily Vortex podcast. And I look forward to helping you expand your consciousness in a very practical and relatable way. So I'll see you on the next episode. And as always, peace, much love, and namaste.